Jeffrey Brown, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me.
Yeah, no problem.
So my first fabulous question is, how did you get started working in comics?
Yeah, well, I grew up reading comics and always thought I was going to someday draw comics. And what happened was I was at art school and needed a break from fine art, painting, and I thought the most fun I ever had making art was when I drew comics as a kid. So just on a lark, just started working on this comic that was autobiographical, and when I was finished, I realized this is what I need to do, and so I just started out self-publishing, and then started working with publishers and grew it from there.
Cool. You said that you read comics as a kid. What were you reading, and what's still influencing you?
Well, I started out with superhero comics, mostly Marvel, X-Men especially, and as it got into high school, I got interested in some of the alternative comics like 8-Ball and comics of Julie Doucet and Chester Brown, comics that were a little more literary or serious, and those are all comics that still influence me. And then Chris Ware's comics are a big influence on me today, although you wouldn't necessarily think that looking at his and then looking at mine, but
it's there.
But it's definitely something that I take in.
Cool. What have you read lately that you would recommend for kids or for teens?
Okay, great. Off the top of my head, I can't even think of what I've read lately.
Or what would you just plain recommend to kids or for teens?
Yeah, well, one book that's probably been mentioned a lot is Craig Thompson's Blankets.
Wow, that doesn't get mentioned as much anymore.
Yeah, it's still a good one to go back to. A lot of kids are already reading it for their curriculum, but Persepolis by Satrapi is still a really great read, as is Mouse by Art Spiegelman.
Mm-hmm.
When you're getting into the later years of teenagers, Joe Sacco's comics too are
great
also,
idea. Is it like Palestine and
Footnotes in Gaza was most recently. It can be very heavy, but I think it's also addressing issues in a very important way.
Right.
Yeah, and I still read some of like the less serious comics for fun, like Fables or Hellboy.
Yeah.
And some of those. So.
Very cool. If you were stranded on a desert island,
yes,
what book would you bring with you? And it doesn't have to be a comic; it can be any book at all.
Lately, I've been saying Jimmy Corrigan by Chris Ware.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a book with so many layers to it, and something you can always go back and find something interesting that you didn't notice the first time. Although his newer book, Building Stories, is also multi-layered in the same way. So
cool.
Probably one of those.
Yeah.
Something that I could really see.
And you can read them 2 or 3 times in completely different ways. Yeah, his books are brilliant. And my last question is, what are you working on next?
I'm working on Jedi Academy Book 2.
Very cool.
And I'm finishing a book for Chronicle called Kids Are Weird, which is funny things that my son said when he was the ages from like 4 to 5 and first learning to put sentences together. So.
Oh, very fun. Cool. Thank you, Jeffrey, very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.